I had always protected Curtis for the longest time. There were aspects of our relationship that I had protected because, at the end of the day, I still loved. In the glamorous and ruthless world of celebrities and entertainment moguls, scandals spread like wildfire, quickly engulfing reputations and careers in their destructive path. Picture this, a situation where two of the biggest names in the music industry, 50 Cent and Diddy, are caught up in a scandal of monumental proportions. Vivica, a veteran actress known for her roles in film and television, suddenly appears in the video evidence of these two powerful men. And then, not long after that, you and 50 Cent became a thing. Yes, okay. So how did you and 50 Cent meet for the first time? We met after he submitted something to Soul Train at the Soul Train Music Awards. I would like to thank Viva Fox for wearing that dress. What a moment. I was shocked. I don't know if you would go back to see my reaction, but I was just like, wow. After that, his people contacted mine, and before long we were talking on the phone. My birthday was approaching, and he's such a gentleman, so generous. I know him as Curtis, and that's how it will always be. And 50 Cent, that's not just a performer to him. That's who he is as a man. When I first spoke with him, I said, "What should I call you?" He said, "Curtis, that's my name." I said, "Okay, cool." For my birthday, he filled my entire house with my favorite flowers, Casablancas and gardenias. A van showed up with flowers, and the gifts kept coming. I was almost overwhelmed, wanting more and more, okay? He's very generous and very kind, a true gentleman. At the time, Get Rich or Die Trying was out, and that was the biggest thing in music, period. The album went diamond. He came in and, in essence, took over the game. And then, you connected with him. I remember the VMAs, the dress you wore. That dress, wow, all that in a bag of chips. Designed by Randy Rom, whom I made sure approved it, and we coordinated our outfits. So you guys became a public couple, right? Did that put a lot of pressure on the relationship? Explain. Well, I was already Vivica Fox Independence Day and beyond while he was becoming this enormous mega rap star, crossing over in clubs. I was used to fame. And the main thing that damaged the relationship was that we went public way too quickly. The love I had for him, and still to this day, will always be the love of my life. I'll admit that without reservation. He'll always have a very special place in my heart. But the relationship ended because we went public too fast and let too many people into our business. If I could do it over, I'd want us to stay private a lot longer. But too many people got involved, and that's what ultimately harmed us, because I genuinely cared. It all began with a cryptic tweet from Vivica Fox, a famous actress, known for her knack for exciting drama, has been a regular in Hollywood gossip columns for her appearances in popular films and TV shows. However, her latest action has left even the most experienced entertainment journalists speechless. In a late-night tweet, she hinted at having incriminating footage of two of the biggest names in the music industry, 50 Cent and Diddy. He said once that he was going to propose and that he wore a 14-karat ring, 12. Yes, still an outrageous ring, indeed, but he's 50 Cent. A ring around $2 million. Or something like that. Something like that. I don't know. But he got mad at me and turned it into a pair of earrings. Laughter. I found that out later. Yeah, found that out later. I thought, damn, B, you could have kept the ring. I at least could have turned it into a pair of earrings if we broke up, but it's all good. Okay, then he went off on his European tour, yes, and at that point I suppose the relationship started to fall apart. I guess you could say that's when things started to go south. The split occurred after the World Music Awards. I returned to find him on the radio talking about how he had broken up with me. You heard it on the radio, right? Yeah, a friend of mine called me. I was in Baltimore taping The Salon when my stylist friend, whose name I forget at the moment, Daryl Brown, called and said, "Yo, your boy's on the radio blasting you." I asked, "Who?" He said, 50 Cent? I said, "Curtis?" He said, "Yeah, I told everybody we broke up." And I'm thinking, we did. So he never came out and said it was a rap song on the radio, did he? But that was his style, looking back on it now. He went back to being the tough guy because we really loved each other a lot at the time. I remember being around Game about that time. And I remember him being announced as being kicked out of G-Unit on the radio too, which nobody saw coming. He announced on the radio what should have been announced in person. But everybody has their own way of dealing with things, and now we're cool. There's peace between us, which I love more than anything else. The tweet caused shockwaves on the social networks, going instantly viral. Speculation ran rampant as fans, reporters, and industry experts alike tried to unravel the meaning behind the footage. Was it real? What secrets might it hold about the personal lives of these larger-than-life figures? As the buzz reached a fever pitch, 50 Cent and Diddy held back, choosing to remain silent for a time. To understand Vivica Fox's supposed behavior, one must first examine her complicated past with 50 Cent. The two have been involved in a tumultuous relationship several years prior, characterized by public blowouts and makeups, an affair that had been a tabloid fodder, always spurring the gossip columns and paparazzi snaps. Despite their eventual split and years of tension between them, that dynamic never fully dissipated. And then in the years that followed, the sparring resumed. Take 2005 for instance, when 50 Cent dropped a song called Get in My Car and grumbled something about commitment from me not being in the cards. He was dating Viva and I thought I had something going, but the following week proved me otherwise. He began showing up at my doorstep, even tracking me down at spas in Vancouver. But that was the persona, and let me tell you, how I felt cruising down the street with that song blasting on the radio. That song, it stuck. Or when the game was rhyming about me. At the time, he was his artist, and that was hard to endure. It broke my heart, but I loved him nonetheless. And then in 2010, you showed up in his music video. I did. What did you think of me in it? Of what you were doing to him in the video? Which I'm sure didn't take much acting. So you two had a falling out. And then in 2015, you gave an interview that suggested 50 Cent was gay. I was mad at him. He had done a double XXL cover with Soulja Boy, and I said that Soulja Boy was mad at me too. I had to personally reach out to Soulja Boy. I was hot-headed in the moment. I guess it had to do with 50 Cent claiming that Empire was losing viewers because there was too much gay content on the show. And then when they brought up the cover, I guess you called him a booty snatcher. Yeah, I was mad at him. And you also said the pot calling the kettle black, and I was mad at him. I was mad at him, and he knew he'd find that out later. I happened to run into him at a New York Knicks basketball game, and we both were in the private section. That's when I walked over to him and squashed it. In recent interviews, Fox had intimated that there were still some feelings left unexplored and unfinished business with 50 Cent. Was her choice of leaking the video perhaps driven by a need for revenge, closure, or maybe even a strategic move to reclaim her spotlight? Such questions further complicated the already salacious story, portraying Fox as both a heroine and a villain in her own developing story. But after hours of no response from Diddy, 50 Cent finally broke his silence. Known for his outspoken personality and his unfiltered social media presence, he took to Instagram to give a scathing rant. In a series of posts that have since been deleted, though they will live on in screenshots and digital history, 50 Cent passionately argued that such footage did not exist. He accused Vivica Fox of trying to sabotage his reputation out of spite, calling her moves desperate and malicious. Sierra's in the neighborhood. Sierra, you're on a raft. Okay. In the middle of the ocean. Yes. Alright. On this raft, you can bring only one more person up. You look into the ocean and you see two people, Bow Wow and 50 Cent. Alright? You can only save one. The other will drown. Who do you pull up? Pull up and let drown. One is drowning, one is going to drown. Yes, has to drown. You've got to leave one behind. Boo Boo, I don't know who Boo is. Oh, pet names we don't know. Fifth, Boo-hoo. Who? I'll pull up 5. You'll pull up 50 Cent and let Bow Wow drown. But you gave me 2 options. What am I supposed to do? I'm being dramatic right now. Oh, so you're being dramatic. Drown. Okay, I'll be dramatic. Elaborate. Why would you pull up? Why do you want me to elaborate? What is that? No, that's the rule. It says right here, after we ask, you start with one question as part of the game, and then it leads to the next one. If I say, okay, you have an album, One Woman Army, yes. Who's on there? That's another question. What happened? And then you stop there? No. Who do you pull up? 50. Why? And I told him that's how interviews are. I'm going to bring him up. But why? Why is Bow still there? You gave me 2 choices. What would his last words be to bow? The last word. Yeah, because he's drowning. Adrian and 50 are floating away. He's drowning. I'm not saying my last words. It's like, hey, laughter. I love you. Everyone says that. Sorry, it wasn't big enough for me. F you? What? What do you say? Love you. F you. My partner,